Prince Edward left Buckingham Palace. No one knows the full story yet. Has King Charles done something so bad that it finally wore him out? Edward, who has always been a calm and balanced person, seems to have had enough of the royal rules and family drama. Could this be the beginning of a more serious rift in royal relations that no one expected? As for Edward, he has always been different. Born in 1964, he grew up in the same royal and glamorous environment as his brothers and sisters, but let's be honest, he is nothing like them. Charles, the future king, has always been tied to duty, traditions, and preparation for the throne. Andrew, on the other hand, has made headlines for reasons the royal family would probably rather forget. But Edward's path has always been unexpected. He is not one to seek attention like some members of his family, nor is he one to follow the rules perfectly. He is somewhere in between, a bit eccentric in the royal family. There is a decision he made, a choice so untraditional, so quiet and defiant that it will change not only his life but also the perception of what it means to be royal. What was it? This is where it gets interesting. Edward was never interested in typical royal expectations. He never pursued being the center of attention nor tried to be the golden child of the family. Instead, he seemed more focused on understanding what made him happy, even if it didn't fully align with royal representations. He dedicated himself to academia, theater, and even television, activities that might seem unconventional to most. He didn't just follow the script he was given, he wrote his own, even if it didn't always make sense to others. Yes, Edward got involved in the arts. He even worked backstage on musicals like The Phantom of the Opera. Imagine a member of the royalty organizing scenarios. This is what makes it so interesting. In the 90s, the establishment of his own company and his foray into television production seemed like a bold and innovative step for a member of the royalty. This gesture demonstrated his willingness to chart his own unique path, while most members of the royalty were content with ceremonial obligations, waving to crowds, attending charity events, and unveiling commemorative plaques. Edward sought to leave his mark in a more creative and non-traditional way. Unfortunately, reality did not quite match the dream. The company tried to find its place in the competitive world of television, but the programs it produced received, at best, a lukewarm reception. Critics quickly dismissed them as uninspiring and lacking the necessary sparkle to stand out. The media, always eager for royal missteps, pounced on the company's failures, turning Edward's activities into a cautionary tale about effort. Newspaper headlines gleefully described each mistake, and the project soon became a subject of public ridicule. It was a painful period for Edward, who genuinely hoped to succeed on his own terms. Seeing his efforts fail under the weight of criticism and constant attention must have been discouraging. However, there was something admirable in his willingness to take risks. Most members of the royalty might have stayed within the comfort of traditions, avoiding such challenges, the public attention that comes with a creative approach. However, Edward's attempt, failed though it was, demonstrates his desire to become something more than just a ceremonial figure in his 20s. He tried military life, but it did not immediately dawn on him that it was not for him. After several months of grueling preparation in the Royal Marines, according to rumors, his father, Prince Philip, a fervent military man, was furious. Imagine that your strict father, for whom discipline and traditions are the most important, discovers that you have left the service. At the proudest moment for the family, the press, of course, pounced on him, gently calling him and saying he couldn't bear the burden. He realized that military life was not for him and, instead of enduring it to please others, made the tough decision to leave. It was a brave step that showed he prefers to follow his intuition rather than fit into molds. This decision, controversial as it may have been in many respects, has allowed him to remain fairly discreet compared to other members of the royal circle. He has done some good things, such as supporting his father's Duke of Edinburgh award and helping with charitable activities. He has been married to Sophie, Countess of Wessex, for a long time, and they seem like a solid couple, no scandals, no dramas, simply going about their business. But the question is that enough for him, or is he willing to leave royal life for good? If Edward truly steps away from royal duties, it could be because he is tired of living in the shadow of others. Or perhaps he looks at Harry and Meghan and thinks, they freed themselves and look great, why can't I? Who knows? We only know that he has always tried to find his own way, even if it is chaotic or doesn't make sense to others. So if he decides to retire, good for him. After all, it's his life. Let's face the truth, royal life is not a walk in the park, and his rebellion is understandable. Back to the present, and surprise, surprise, Prince Edward is back in the spotlight. So here's the news: Buckingham Palace. The majestic symbol of royal life is no longer his main refuge. Edward has packed his bags. No one knows exactly why, but he has. The rumor mill is working overtime. Some believe it is his quiet way of saying, hey, I'm not thrilled with how things are with King Charles II. Others think he is simply tired of the drama and wants to rest in the tranquility of Bagshot Park, the country estate he shares with Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh. They are like the cool couple of the royal family: no scandals, no dirty headlines, just a calm atmosphere. While some members of the royal family seem to thrive on drama, looking at Harry and Meghan, Edward and Sophie keep their calm. The move from Buckingham Palace is not a dramatic exit with accusations flying everywhere. It is more of a quiet moment where we simply go about our business. But don't be fooled, even without drama, this is still a big event. Royal watchers are puzzled trying to understand what this means. In fact, it's not the first time members of the royalty have left palace life. Remember Harry and Meghan? Their exit was like a full-blown soap opera. However, Edward's move resembles more of a soft and carefully planned start to a new chapter. He doesn't flip tables or give sensational interviews, he simply leaves quietly, like a polite rebel. It's as if he's saying, I'll do it my way, thank you very much. And then there's Bagshot Park. If Buckingham Palace is the glitz, the gold, and the endless cameras, Bagshot Park is the complete opposite, hidden in a quiet rural setting. He and Sophie have built their little piece of normal life, as normal as it can be when you're a member of the royalty. It's not just a house, it's their sanctuary. They focus on raising their children and fulfilling their royal duties on their own terms, without extravagant palace staff or endless royal engagements. Just a quieter, simpler life. This move says a lot about who Edward and Sophia really are. Constantly seeking changes and a balance between duty and personal happiness, they undoubtedly remain members of the royalty. However, perhaps they are showing the world that there is another way to live, one that does not involve being under the palace spotlight 24 hours a day. King Charles is carrying out a great mission to reduce the monarchy: fewer royal members, fewer expenses, and a more modern, less excessive version of what it means to wear the crown. Could Edward's move be part of this overall plan? Yes, it is possible. Charles has clearly expressed his vision of a monarchy with fewer working members and fewer people living at the expense of the royal family. For someone like that, minding one's own business might not be a bad option. It's like saying, focus on your family and your passions without the Buckingham Palace breathing down your neck. Nevertheless, not everyone applauds Charles's big changes. All this talk of a modern monarchy makes people talk. Critics say that if the royal family is reduced too much, it could lose some of its magic. What's the point of a monarchy that isn't almost supernatural? But there is another perspective that says reducing is sensible. Who would want to finance a large royal family in 2024? Their discreet departure adds more fuel to these debates. It's as if they are silently drawing a line between maintaining old traditions and moving forward. They are not completely giving up their royal duties, they are simply redefining how these duties are seen. And, being honest, this fits very well with the new generation of royalty, which seeks a real connection with people, not just standing on balconies waving. Edward's move suggests that one can still be a king without living in the palace's center of attention, as if the monarchy were becoming a bit more accessible, a bit less untouchable. And leaving Buckingham Palace does not. It is just a decision to change homes, it is full of meaning. The palace has been the center. Edward is trying to balance traditions and modern reality. For him, this is not just a rearrangement of furniture, but a rethinking of the role of royal figures in today's world. This step does not mean abandoning traditions, rather, it is a way of honoring his late parents, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, and preserving their values in his own quiet way. Family also plays an important role in this decision. He has two children, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Viscount Severn, who are already teenagers. Moving away from the palace will give them more opportunities to grow up in a more acceptable way and be less involved in all the royal dramas. Edward seems to be saying that being a good father is above all. However, Edward's decision not only makes his life easier but also reminds us that even the most rigid institutions can change. The monarchy faces various challenges, and Edward is taking a step back, showing that even kings understand the need for adaptation to remain relevant. If this means swapping palace life for rural tranquility, then so be it. The tale of two princes and Edward's departure from the royal family happens at a difficult time. Their reputation suffers one blow after another: scandals involving Prince Andrew, the ongoing fallout from Harry and Meghan's dramatic exit. The House of Windsor seems stuck in an endless crisis. There were moments, but nothing devastating. Edward tried to juggle royal duties and a personal career, but not everything went smoothly. Remember his television company? Critics quickly accused him of incompetence. A time for frankness. The reputation of the royal family suffers one blow after another. Scandals involving Prince Andrew and the fallout from Harry and Meghan's departure continue to cause damage. The House of Windsor seems stuck in an endless crisis. Edward tried to combine royal duties and a personal career, but not everything went smoothly.